The Boston Celtics stand on the edge of a turning point, and the entire league is watching to see if Brad Stevens is about to pull one more surprising move before the season tips off on October 22nd against Philadelphia. The numbers are clear and cold. Boston sits $4,036,489 over the league's first luxury tax apron, a place no team wants to remain for long. It is not just about paying more money. It is about the restrictions that come with it, the inability to add talent freely, the handcuffs on trades and roster flexibility. Every executive in the league knows that the apron is not simply a financial threshold. It is a wall that divides the contenders who can maneuver from those who become trapped by their own peril. The Celtics have no interest in being trapped. Amid this scenario, one name has risen above the rest and is not Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown. It is Sam Hauser. The 27-year-old forward, who has quietly become one of the most accurate shooters in the league, is now at the center of speculation because of his new contract. A 4-year, $45 million deal has made him both valuable and expendable at the same time. Valuable because every franchise in the NBA is hunting for reliable floor spacing, and Hauser gives that in elite doses. Expendable because in a roster full of high-impact players, his skill set, while important, may be the one Boston can afford to part with in order to create breathing room under the tax. The curiosity grows because Hauser is not a struggling player clinging to minutes. He is coming off a season where he averaged 8.5 points per game with efficiency that rivals the very best specialists in the sport. 45% from the field, over 41% from beyond the arc, a perfect record at the free throw line, plus 3 rebounds per night. These are not empty numbers. They are the kind of statistics that playoff teams crave when they need shooting under pressure. That means his trade value is not theoretical. It is real, and it is drawing eyes from rival executives who see an opportunity. Fans might wonder why Boston would even consider moving a shooter like this at a time when spacing is more important than ever. The answer lies not only in the balance sheet, but also in the shifting strategy of the front office. Brad Stevens has already shown that no one is untouchable if the move serves the larger vision. This summer, Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday were both shipped out, replaced by pieces that fit different needs. The arrival of Anthony Simons, even with his $27.7 million expiring salary, reshaped the backcourt. The addition and subsequent flip of Georges Niang for rookie R.J. Lewis Jr. showed Stevens is not afraid to repackage assets quickly. Each of these steps signals a willingness to sacrifice short-term familiarity for long-term flexibility. Hauser's situation fits into this puzzle perfectly. By trading him now, the Celtics could immediately reduce their financial burden and potentially acquire assets that strengthen the roster in areas of need. Rival teams could offer draft capital, young defenders, or even veterans on shorter contracts, all of which would allow Boston to maintain competitiveness while regaining control of their financial future. Imagine the effect of adding a versatile wing defender or a big man who can protect the rim without inflating the payroll. That is the kind of strategic thinking that transforms a good season into a great one. There is also the psychological element. Opponents have learned that Stevens moves quickly and without hesitation. That unpredictability keeps Boston a step ahead. If Hauser is moved, it sends a clear message that the Celtics are never satisfied with standing still. They are always recalibrating, always searching for the next advantage. That mindset keeps fans hopeful because it means the team refuses to accept mediocrity. Some analysts have argued that keeping Hauser is safer, that his shooting is too valuable to give up. But those arguments underestimate the Celtics' current position. With Al Horford potentially on the move to a Western Conference contender and Luke Kornet already gone to San Antonio on a 3-year, $41 million deal, Boston must redistribute thousands of minutes in the frontcourt. The coaching staff is evaluating every option, including the emergence of Neemias Queta as a potential breakout player. If Queta can step into a larger role, the team may not need to lean as heavily on Hauser's offense. That creates the opening for a trade without creating a void. And this is where the hope lies. Trading Hauser would not be a sign of weakness, it would be a demonstration of control. A reminder that Boston is still writing the script of its own destiny. The financial relief could allow the Celtics to stay under critical thresholds, keeping the door open for future acquisitions. The roster would remain competitive today while staying flexible tomorrow. For fans, it means the team is not boxed in by the present, but is planning for sustained success across the next several seasons. So as October 22nd approaches, and the first jump ball of the season inches closer, the spotlight unexpectedly shines on Sam Hauser. His future could determine whether the Celtics enter the new campaign with shackles or with freedom. Every whisper of a phone call, every rumor of an inquiry, every suggestion of interest from another team only deepens the intrigue. Will Hauser remain the silent sniper in green, or will he become the asset that unlocks Boston's next chapter? The answer has not yet been written, but one thing is certain: the Celtics are not done surprising the league, and their boldness is the reason fans can remain hopeful that the journey ahead will be filled with more triumphs than setbacks. The spotlight that had just shifted to Sam Hauser suddenly finds itself sharing space with something far more seismic. As rumors of a Hauser move circulate and Boston weighs the value of financial flexibility against shooting depth, another storyline begins to shake the foundations of the franchise. Jaylen Brown has not shut the door on the idea of one day playing for his hometown Atlanta Hawks, and the implications of that subtle but powerful statement are sending waves through the league. At first glance, it may feel like a casual remark, a moment of lighthearted honesty, when Brown mentioned that even his grandmother would enjoy seeing him in Hawks colors. But in a league where every word is measured and every hint sparks speculation, those words carried weight. They arrived at a time when the Celtics are already in flux, having moved on from Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and when Jayson Tatum's Achilles injury has created questions about how this roster should be shaped for the future. Suddenly, the conversation is no longer just about how Boston manages its payroll or whether Hauser's contract is expendable. It is about whether the Celtics would ever consider reimagining the very core that has defined them for years. The curiosity grows because Brown is under contract and not a free agent. The only way he could wear an Atlanta uniform is through a trade, and that opens up a maze of possibilities. The Hawks have assets, they have young talent, and they have the motivation to bring home a star who could energize their franchise and their fan base. But what makes this more fascinating is that any trade involving Brown would also send ripple effects across the entire Eastern Conference. It would reshape not just Boston, but the hierarchy of the league itself. Two scenarios have been placed under the microscope. The first is the star-for-star concept, where Boston would receive Trae Young and Onyeka Okongwu in exchange for Brown, Peyton Pritchard, and Sam Hauser. For the Celtics, this would mean replacing Brown's scoring and defense with one of the most prolific playmakers of the modern era. Trae Young led the league in assists last season, averaging 11.6 per game, more than one full assist higher than Nikola Jokic. His ability to orchestrate an offense is unmatched, and pairing that with Tatum could create a new type of 1-2 punch that opponents would struggle to contain. Okongwu would add frontcourt stability after the departure of Porzingis, giving Boston a young and athletic big man who fits the timeline of the team. The second scenario is more of a long-term gamble. The Hawks would acquire Brown directly, while the Celtics would receive Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and 2 first-round picks. Johnson is a rising forward who averaged over 18 points per game last season while shooting 50% from the field. He lacks a consistent three-point shot, but his athleticism and ability to finish inside are undeniable. Adding him along with picks would give Boston the flexibility to rebuild on the fly, positioning them for both immediate contribution and future moves. Alexander Walker brings defense and secondary playmaking, qualities that are often undervalued but crucial in playoff battles. For fans, the question becomes which vision excites more. Is it the thought of Tatum playing alongside one of the best passers in the world, creating a dynamic offense that blends scoring and playmaking at a level Boston has not seen in decades? Or is it the idea of stockpiling youth and draft capital, ensuring that the Celtics maintain relevance for the next generation while still competing in the present? Both options hold intrigue, and both keep the door of hope wide open. What makes this moment thrilling is that Boston is not cornered into a single path. They have choices, they have leverage, and they have a president in Brad Stevens who has already proven that he will act boldly when the opportunity presents itself. The departure of Porzingis and Holiday prove that sentimentality will not dictate the plan. Every move is calculated, every piece is measured against the long-term vision of sustained excellence. That same approach now extends to Hauser and possibly to Brown. Supporters should not interpret this speculation as a signal of collapse. On the contrary, it is a reminder that the Celtics are unafraid to explore every avenue to stay competitive. If Brown were to leave in a trade, it would not be because Boston is surrendering, it would be because they see a way to evolve, to transform a roster into something even more dangerous. That is the curiosity gap that fuels the discussion. What is the hidden vision that Stevens and his staff see? What is the plan that lies beyond the whispers of trade packages? Imagine walking into TD Garden knowing that the team on the floor has not only survived change, but has grown stronger because of it. Whether it is the precision shooting of Hauser flipped for critical assets, or the star power of Brown exchanged for either an elite playmaker or a package of youth and picks, the underlying theme is the same. The Celtics are not standing still. They are building towards something bigger. The uncertainty is not a threat, it is an opportunity. As the season opener against Philadelphia on October 22nd approaches, the league waits to see if Boston will deliver one more shock before the first tip. The possibility of Hauser being moved is already intriguing enough, but the mere hint that Jaylen Brown could one day be part of a blockbuster deal has elevated the tension to another level. Every day brings new whispers. Every conversation among insiders adds fuel to the fire. Will Boston reshape its future by cashing in Hauser's contract? Will they gamble with Brown's star power? Or will they hold steady until the perfect deal emerges? For the fans, this uncertainty is not despair but anticipation. The Celtics are not closing windows, they are opening new ones. They are proving once again that this franchise is built not only on banners from the past, but on the courage to chase more in the future. That is why hope remains strong in Boston, and why every rumor, every trade possibility, and every strategic move feels less like a threat and more like the first step toward another championship story waiting to be written.